Okay, so now we have all of our ribbon onto our wreath form, and all of the pipe cleaners are pointed to the back. So we're going to flip this over and work the back of the wreath. So what we want to do is we want to kind of, pipe cleaners have that wire edge in there. So what we're trying to do is we want to minimize scratching on the surface of your door or wall. Now, at this point, if you have any of these that are rolling the wrong direction, you can certainly readjust and tighten your pipe cleaners. Now, you do not need tools per se, because you can certainly do this with your fingers. But I do use wire cutters and needle nose pliers. So I just like to trim. It makes it a little bit easier, and then just curl that down. Again, if you do not have those items, you certainly can do that manually. You just, fold those edges down and kind of tuck it under like so, okay? So now we're just gonna go around the wreath quickly, and I'm gonna speed up the video, and I'm just gonna, tie off all these, and then we'll come back and add our sign. All right, so we have all the pipe cleaners kind of tied off, so to speak, on the back side. We're gonna flip it back to the front. And now we're gonna look at adding our wreath, or adding our sign, excuse me. So we do kind of wanna make sure we're paying attention to those little gnomes, where you have them, what direction they're going in, so that we make sure that they're going in the direction you want in regards to your sign. So I'm just gonna, and again, this was my center, my first one I put on, so this was kind of where I envisioned putting my sign. So like that. Now, when you're putting on your sign, you're going to want to pull out anything that you want to possibly show, and that way you can, because once you attach your sign, you don't want to then be pulling stuff out, because then there's more give behind that sign. So you've got, excuse me, 2 coming off the back metal hanger, and you got 1 on either side. And I like to work from on one edge, either my left or my right, and then attach them that way. So the first thing I like to do is I like to, before I start putting on my sign, is I like to pull out all my ribbon. Mesh, I'm okay with being behind it, because I think that gives it some support. But I like my ribbon all to show. It doesn't mean that it's all going to stay out. It might, I might tuck some behind once I have my sign secured. And if you find that there's too much mesh in one spot, you can kind of push some of that under. Again, I'm more concerned with the ribbon. So, and I can, like I said, I can always push some back under when I'm done. I just like it to have that ability, because you certainly can make it tighter by pushing it back, but you don't want to lose that tail. It's just wanting to show. And sometimes you have those that pop up. Okay. Something is not. Sorry, a little twisted. There we go. Okay. And again, don't stress out too much. I mean, if you've got some ribbon under that's not coming out, that's fine. We're gonna push some of it under. Okay, so I'm gonna start with this side. There's no rhyme or reason to that, just that's the way I wanna start. And basically all I'm doing is kind of picking a hole down to the back side of this wreath. So I'm taking this fishing line and kind of pulling it back through to the back side. Now, with the top of this, your two ends are coming off up here. So instead of running it this way, we actually want to run this fishing line because it will cause it to go askew. So I'm going to kind of come in up with the top part with one side. Okay. Now, I'm going to take both those fishing lines I kind of push to the back and hold them in one hand. Again, I'm going to kind of check my centering, make sure I'm pretty centered, make sure I have it down kind of as far in as I want. And then I'm going to flip this over. Now it's going to move, and that's okay. We're going to check it again. So now I've got my bottom down here, my top up here. So I'm going to utilize these crossbars. When you are tying on a sign, actually, I think I'm going to use this top, and we're going to tie off and have them meet here. So what I mean by that is you don't want to tie off along the circular ones, because what happens is if you do that, your knot will slide. So what we're doing is I took that and wrapped it around that bar, and then I'm going to come and wrap around this one. Okay. And now I'm going to take this lower one that I have, and I'm going to wrap it around this crossbar, and then it's going to come meet this one up here. And by doing that, it's kind of anchored it in a couple places, so it's less likely to slip since this is a metal sign. And then I'm going to go ahead and do one throw. I'm going to flip this back over and just kind of check to see where I am. Okay, so it's come up a little bit, and that's okay. So I'm going to tighten that a little bit, and I'm going to pull a little bit. Now don't pull too hard because we don't want to break this fishing line, because we are stronger than its tension, but it's strong enough to hold your sign. And so I'm going to do a couple throws. You don't just throw a couple and that's it, because fishing line can slip. So I did about 4. Then I'm going to take and wrap it around one more bar. It doesn't matter which bar at this point, and I'm going to do a couple more throws. Okay. There we go. You will need some scissors, which mine seem to, there we go. And just trim that. I do like to leave a little tail just because, again, fishing line can slip. All right, we're gonna move back to the front of our wreath. And now we're going to push this one into a hole, and we're gonna come up here and find that second side. And again, kind of push that towards the top, through a top hole. And it doesn't really matter where, just as long as it gets to the back side of the wreath. Okay. Like I said, we're still gonna be able to move that fishing line, the ribbons all around, and really fill in, you know, if you're worried about it kind of looking gapey there or anything like that. So, all right, so I'm holding both in my left hand, checking my tension, just making sure it is where I want it. This side doesn't tend to slip as much. So I'm gonna take and wrap around this bar for this is actually one side, come up, and we're gonna come meet here. And this is gonna be the bar that I wrap, them all around. There we go. Now, you can always check your tension. So here's the kind of the top of my wreath, so to speak, wrapped around, coming over here, and I'm gonna wrap it around this one. So now I have both of them around here. Kind of pull it a little bit taut. If you want to check, if you feel it slipped and confirm placement, you certainly can. But again, I'm going to tie a couple throws. Oh, and then I'm going to wrap around, sorry, I almost forgot a step. wrap it around one bar, and throw a couple more throws. And again, it's just to make sure those knots don't slip. Because obviously you want your wreath to last a couple years and enjoy it. You've put in all the hard work. All right, trimming that. So now I can flip this back to the front side. Now at this point is when you can start moving the ribbon around. And so I think I might slide that green under, this leaf over here. I might move one of it under. That way I can bring in some of that burgundy and this plaid and just, you know, tweak it, move it around. Now, I will say this, looking at it from above has a different perspective than when it's hanging on your wall or door. So you're probably going to do this yet again when you hang it up to display. So I might actually push that one down so I can actually have, yeah. But just, you know, move it, tweak it the way you want it, and it's okay if you have some ribbon back there. You don't have to have everything showing. That way you can show off the patterns that you really love. And if you need tuck mesh behind, you certainly can. So, okay. Well, you get the point, and by all means, get it to how you like it, and go from there. Now, the last step is if you are not using a wreath hanger to hang your wreath, you'll want to add the little metal piece that was included in your kit. It's about a 6-inch piece of wire. This wire is very bendable, as you can see. So you don't need the tools again, but it does help. And I just kind of make it into a little loop. I like to use this and hang them with 3M hooks. 3M hooks work really well. I do not use door hanger as a wreath hanger on my door because of the fact that our doors are really tall, but also this way I can also put them on inside doors, and they are on so many doors in our house. But I love seeing all the different patterns and creations, and so I'm going to just wrap that around the bar. Again, I'm trying to pay attention to get those sharp edges to the back side so they don't scratch my surface or your surface. There we go. All right, and so I'm just checking to make sure that's all good. I'm all set. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you found it to be fun. I did do most of the hard work at the cutting and the planning and stuff for you, so all you got to do is put it together. Enjoy your wreath. Thank you for watching. Thank you for purchasing your kit, and I look forward to you doing another one with me in the future. Take care.